After we exchanged emails, an early YTP editor, known as Waldfield, decided to write a book detailing their experience with YouTube poop. In it, they make this subtle point in regards to YTP's humble origins.
Whenever a movement comes around, they try to attribute a singular creator to it. When I'm studying genre or when I'm studying music, there is no one singular creator. Everybody all just kind of comes together to create something. Speaking as a fan of music, like Elvis is not, the creator of rock and roll. A lot of people seem to attribute rock and roll as a creation to him, and I've seen it done the other way around, where they'll attribute the creation to Sister Rosetta Tharpe or Arthur Crudup. But the problem is that, when you go to a lot of early rock and roll, it tends to have crossover with various other genres. Hank Williams had crossover with, honky tonk. Arthur Crudup had crossover with jump blues. Sister Rosetta Tharpe had a lot of crossover with gospel. YouTube poop as sort of a style was not necessarily decided on until about 2006, 2007. A large part of that is because of the efforts of people like Conrad Slater. You would actually see somebody noticing, similarities in what they were doing. And it's like, okay, I'm going to give that a name. If you took the name out of it, YouTube poop would really just be a digital extension of remix culture. It would be less pretentious about itself, less trying to make a point, in the same way that Negative Land or Maya Deren were doing. Not trying to disorient you to actually put you in another state of being, Bob Rafelson. But more just doing it to piss you off, like Strawberry Clock. Every starting genre needs to have its sort of figurehead. Grunge needed its Kurt Cobain. The British Invasion needed its own Beatles. In a lot of ways, YouTube poop needed its own Super Yoshi. He came at exactly the right time for, to make the impact that he did. While I personally don't agree that, he, created, the aesthetic, I can see why people need that sort of narrative. Because it helps the genre make sense. It helps the movement make sense. It gives it purpose. It gives it forward momentum.
Forums back then, that's how you met people with similar interests. There was an old Flash cartoon on Newgrounds called Perfect Kirby, and I joined their forum in 2004. Essentially, a whole bunch of other members of that forum joined Cheesy Art. Then I joined Cheesy Art late that year, and then that it snowballed into the whole event of YouTube Poop's creation. First of all, Cheesy Art was a small website in and of itself. I would say actively there might have been a couple hundred members that were really prominent, as opposed to DeviantArt or Newgrounds that had thousands.
Okay, my dumbass is picturing Cheesy Art with 10,000 active users.
Oh no, yeah, I would say I don't even know if Cheesy Art's registered users got past the thousands mark. Because basically Cheesy Art was an offshoot of DeviantArt. I guess more friendly, because everybody seemed to know each other on Cheesy Art. It's not like how DeviantArt is. I'm kind of surprised it still is prominent as it is today, where you kind of submit something and it just kind of gets lost in the flood. With Cheesy Art, you submitted something and it usually stayed on the front page of recent submissions for a couple of hours, maybe even a couple of days if it was popular.
Real life friends or online friends that were on Cheesy Art? 2
of my real life friends were on Cheesy Art. One of which was Retro Jake. He's the only one of my real life friends that was really integral to YouTube's creation. The rest were mostly online friends. First 3 was the Hot on Our Tail, which back then I submitted it as The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 Remixed. Second one was the Mega Man one, which on Cheesy Art, I submitted it as Mega Man Remixed. On YouTube, I submitted it as Dr. Light's Guidance System Show. I submitted it to Cheesy Art, and it got a couple of people that I was fans of on Cheesy Art to notice it somehow. I don't know how. I guess it was so out there that someone out there just found it funny, and I guess word of mouth kind of spread. Now, when I say popular, I mean maybe 50, 100 people tops saw it. And then a couple of months later, the 2 of us did Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I can actually remember the site we got the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon from, because it's a really weird website to remember. It was called tailskicksass.net. it had the first episode, and I remember it also had like a lot of like Tails centric episodes of the Sonic cartoon. If you ever go back and watch the Sonic poops, like that's all like these Tails specific episodes, because those are the only episodes we could find back then. That was like early to mid 2005 is when we decided to submit the 3 of them to Cheesy Art. And then after that, it was sort of like, it wasn't like we got bored of it. It was more like, it was kind of obvious that this was a thing only we really found funny.
The site's called youtube.com, and that's YOU. And it's just a place where you can go, it's kind of like Flickr for videos, if you think of it like that, because you're actually able to tag your videos.
Back then, it wasn't that great of a website as far as like functionality goes. It didn't work.
They have a built-in player?
Yes, they have a built-in player, so we'll click on this, and then so it actually plays right on YouTube. So you don't actually have to go and, download it.
Now, and this is happening right now, video files are giant, so
yes.
They may take a little while. You have to have a fast connection.
I remember vividly back then, videos would constantly just stop buffering, and you'd have to refresh the page just to hope that the video might load. A lot of the reason we just decided to join YouTube was essentially to like take the piss out of it. Like, man, this site sucks. Let's just fuck around with it. Cause like back then, nobody was using YouTube seriously. A lot of people doing like their own like vlogs, and I remember like anime music videos being a big thing on YouTube back then. And then here come us just making pure fucking garbage, just submitting it like almost non-stop.
Back then, everyone was just like experimenting. There was no definitive YouTube meta. There's like no style, brand of content that was like proven to be successful. So everyone was just doing a ton of experimentation, a lot of just very kind of strange content that would like never exist in conventional formats like television, and you end up with pretty weird subgenres of videos, one of them being YouTube poops.
We started making YouTube videos because we thought that was a good idea. It was like 2009. Nobody was making YouTube videos back then. Pretty much if you were making sort of internet videos, you were a fucking weirdo.
A lot of people wanted to create things when the internet first started, and YouTube poop was just kind of the first thing that people could do.
The earliest YouTube poops were literally just like a bunch of like 12-year-olds taking clips from cartoons and Windows Movie Maker and just making them rotate a little bit. That was it. It's crazy to think like how things have evolved over time.
It's a genre that started off with like basically a bunch of teenagers goofing off. They would pirate editing software. They would download videos from YouTube and just like mess around. If you've ever taken like an editing class or anything, you'd always imagine like, what if you just didn't stick to the conventions? And what if you just kind of just winged it and put like random stuff, random effects, just completely impulsive decision making on how to edit something.
The evolution of YouTube poop kind of went 2 different ways, in my opinion. You had what was then known as Flash Poops, that was made by people like Walrus Guy, that got really popular.
Hey Zelda, wake up! Huh? No, I can't go on without Zelda. I'm on a jump.
Yum, yum, yum.
And then you had like the natural evolution of like the anarchistic YouTube poop, where it was just like, if you thought it was loud before, like, wow, shit's just even more loud, things are getting even more out of control. Complete fucking insanity. You could watch a video that was like 30 seconds long, and it felt like the video was like 2 minutes because so much shit was happening on screen.
This is probably what's most remembered during sort of the quintessential era of YouTube poop.
Say, what's that button do? I'll show you.
What the fuck?
The peak years was probably 2007 to 2009. Back then, if you watched YouTube, you'd have a greater chance of encountering YouTube poop than now. This is what things were like in the early days. Like kind of basic, choppy editing with 240p stuff, crude humor.
How come you don't have a laser, Woody? It's not a laser, it's a...
I'm a fire in my laser!
You can't beat the classics. This stuff is hilarious. I still think it's entertaining today, if you watch it in different ways. nostalgia is part of it. But back then, this was like some of the funniest content you could find on YouTube.
Internet back then was very, very aggressive, very edgy.
A traditionalist was the word for like people who are fans of like older kinds of YTPs, like the 2006 to 2009 period, like that style, who like only like that style and nothing else.
Say that was sort of a steady progression, but probably around 2011, 2012, that's when a lot of stuff started picking up. A lot of people started putting serious effort into these videos.
Don't you have anything more unusual? Of course! Watch this! What the f was that?
One of the things that I'm noticing about YouTube Poop is how much more sophisticated the editing has become.
Editing just with the community as a whole has gotten so impressive. It's expanded so well that like I can't be anywhere near what people are capable of doing nowadays, and I love them for that.
This is Orpheus for the win. You do a lot of stuff combining animated characters and live action scenes. This person, along with a few others, is cited as really pushing the medium to like compelling people to strive for more advanced editing techniques. He was one of the first users of After Effects. Before this, most people would just use like Vegas or Premiere or Final Cut, or even iMovie and Windows Movie Maker.
Am I glad he's frozen in there and that we're out here and that he's the sheriff and that we're frozen out here and that we're in there and I just remembered we're out here. What I want to know is where's the caveman?
Messing with people's type stuff, tricking people into thinking they're clicking on the real thing, and that's just a nonsensical edit. It's interesting how eventually it turned into something where it actually had like artistic merit and serious effort put into it. After this stuff came out, a lot of people kind of started following. The genre became a lot more avant-garde and more polished. Obviously it wasn't for everyone. There's still people who just stuck to the kind of the old ways of mishmashing stuff together.
Buzz gets COVID-19. The things that are done in that video on a technical level are incredible.
Let's go, everyone.
Where we going, Buzz?
Yeah, I mean, that takes time to do.
Get to the hot shit on the other side.
It's so subtle.
Oh well, he died.
He is finding all sorts of humor, and it's not just the sentence mixing, it's all of that time and effort on the masking. I mean, I can only imagine how long this took him to make. You're seeing bounty and all sorts of paper towels. I mean, that's all part of the whole plot to the Poop. This is blowing my mind. Like, when it started out, YouTube Poop was just remixing videos. And here, the video is being remixed in such a way that I can almost say you can put this on a Late Show sketch.
Oh, definitely. It's that level of editing for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
For the very online, Skibbity Biden.
Skibbity Biden! Skibbity Biden!
At the time, you had predominantly CDI games that were harvested for their cutscenes and then turned into these remixes. They were easy to access because all you had to do was go onto a French-Canadian website, click download, and bam, you had them. So it was that easy for someone to get into it, pop it into Windows Movie Maker or whatever it is that they had, and play with it. That's how it became such a phenomenon. People learned to play with it.
How did you get a copy of the Mario cartoon in a video format?
That you just had to find online. There were certain websites that had them online. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. I think the most famous one now is Yoshi Art.
I didn't watch the Mario show on YouTube. I actually found it on a site called Yoshi Art.
Back in the day, it was either fan sites or you had to use Kazaa or LimeWire. You had to kind of know where to look back then. There was no video archive website like there is now. Quebec Gamers was the site that was used for all of the CDI clips.
And I think it was also Quebec Gamers for like anything like the Zelda CDI videos.
Anything Hotel Mario, Zelda, that was all Quebec Gamers. And I think that was all that they had as far as the YouTube Poop sources go. You would know this because every video from back then has the Quebec Gamers watermark on it.
It was difficult to get sources then. The first ones were made because they were on a website, I think it was on Something Awful, where you could get the CDI footage. And the reason why CDI footage was so important was because it was accessible. Ripping YouTube only came later.
There's sort of like almost like a family tree of YouTube poopers and their influences and their friends and like who influenced who and all this kind of stuff. Yamino Malix, King Necropope, and Duke of Fortune Man, I all met on a website called protoman.com, which was a Mega Man forum. Duke of Fortune Man and King Necropope were real-life friends of Yamino Malix. I want to say Jing Wu was a friend of Yamino Malix's on the voice actors forum. Tetsuo9999, he was one of the first of anyone to really discover our videos on YouTube and make them on his own. He was the first to have done a video based on Hotel Mario. Another user named Dan Variano, who goes by D Variano on YouTube, I think it was one of my videos that he discovered because he was a fan of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and then he started making his own videos based on Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think Mama Luigi too. It just kind of spread like wildfire after that. And essentially after April 2006 is when like the floodgates kind of happened. That's when we all started submitting videos. The snowball effect had started from there. Mama Luigi was the one thing that kind of really took off, and I think that's because we were all making videos of it. My thing at the time was Adventures of Sonic. Retro's thing was primarily Mama Luigi, and Yamano's was primarily like Power Rangers, but like we were all like dabbing in Mama Luigi.
There were certain sources, certain content that was favored for YouTube poop. Probably the most iconic being stuff like this, where in the 1990s, Philips came out with these really terrible licensed Nintendo games with Mario and Zelda.
Hotel Mario is a game for the CDI released in 1994. It's mostly remembered for its animated cutscenes, immortalized through the tradition of YouTube poop.
For whatever reason, these became kind of the first things people would edit and associate with like the brand of YouTube poop. What would happen is that they would take like sound bites from these clips and they just like put it in something like SpongeBob.
No. Patrick, it's Gay Luigi.
People liked using a lot of children's cartoons because a lot of the humor comes from making like a family-friendly cartoon, like completely inappropriate.
If you had to give a definition in the YTP community, what AIDS is?
Anything that was considered overused, which primarily meant CDI.
Conrad Slater, the person that first labeled CDI as AIDS and actually started this thing called the War on AIDS in an attempt to destroy CDI forever.
Because CDI seemed to be very popular as far as like the flash poopers go, like Walrus Guy.
The term for overused YouTube poop sources is spadinner, based on the the idea of people who, back then there was a lot of people not quite editing on the right sound, so I hope she made lots of dinner.
I hope she made lots of dinner.
I don't know if it was because of their popularity that people got annoyed, or if it was because of their overuse that everybody was using these clips. It might have been both, because when you get right down to it, Zelda and Hotel Mario have probably 15 minutes max between the two of them. And I guess there's only so much you can derive from that.
I was going to say the whole quote-unquote spot dinner part of it has died out, but I think people like Jimmy Davis has sort of revived it in a new light.
And I think there was a lot of great stuff. Obviously, the CDI stuff was just, asking for it.
From 2015 to now, it sounds like, obviously, the Spadinner stuff is still woven in there.
In fact, it's loved. It's really loved.
Are you not tired of, like, the Spadinner, really old sources?
Not especially. I think you could still get some funny stuff out of them.
When I started this, I assumed these clips I was watching were from seasons and seasons of a TV show, but then a couple months ago, I went back and went, holy shit, that's it?
Oh yeah, as far as like the CDI stuff, I don't think there's a single frame of the CDI games that hasn't been in a YouTube poop in some fashion.
I think that was probably true in 2008.
Oh god, yeah, without a doubt. That's why I loved Adventures of Sonic so much, because like the series was essentially a gold mine for sources, because there's 65 episodes and each one of them has like all these like weird Robotnik scenes you could use.
Of the sources you use, which one did you like the most?
Yeah, Sonic X was pretty much my favorite one to go about using.
Either Arthur, The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, to a slight extent the Berenstain Bears, and Disney movies.
I'd later find that I liked using The Simpsons because of the bright colors. You could easily do chroma key effects on them.
Like SpongeBob was a favorite source of mine for a while because it was such a versatile source.
Probably, I do enjoy the game shows. You know, they certainly take a bit longer and there's more editing involved, so those are really fun. But I would say my favorites are probably everyone else's favorites. The most I have on the channel, which is the Dr. Duh and Paula Deen.
I would say like my favorite group of sources would be like just random YouTube videos with like little to no views. Doesn't have to be anything that is even recognizable, honestly. As long as you can kind of tell without context what is going on and it can still be funny, I think that's like a really, really neat thing.
I definitely gravitated towards more live action sources than animated ones. I don't know why. I guess I just found them funnier.
I can't answer a question like this without bringing up Knut. You know, some people see him as my signature source, you know, the blue guy who just dances around. I think that my sense of humor or my style of video editing is kind of stuck in the mid 2010s or something, because most of the sources that I use are kind of from that era, early 2010 to 2015.
That's always what YTP was to me, is something using sources that mean something to someone.
My favorite source back then was I don't use it anymore because it's kind of embarrassing, but Zontan's I'd like to teach the world to fap.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves.
I'd like to build the world a site and furnish it with corn.
I think I liked that so much because when I released that video, I had to go to the hospital the next day. And when I was in the hospital, I got a notification on my phone, and it was Zone-sama himself, commenting, "Oh my god, this is awesome," and I shrieked in the middle of the hospital.
When I woke up, I checked my email, and then I received an email saying that, oh, my channel was taken down due to harassment and bullying, and I was like, oh, what the hell is happening? I made some YouTube poops on FNTube HD, and I also created a YouTube poop on Ryan's toy reviews. I think that's the reason my channel was taken down.
They might have reported you because you were using them in videos?
Yeah. Obviously, my type of videos are not safe for kids. I add a lot of sex jokes to it, and I add a lot of ear rapes to it.
Your favorite source for YouTube poops?
I hate to say that, but my favorite source is Kids Channel. Because
no matter how much pain they inflict on you, you can't help it.
Yeah, because they're so much fun to poop with.
You mentioned the rhythm community, but I wasn't sure if that's a common thing or not.
Oh yeah, it's very common. There's a lot of people in the community that are very accustomed to one source and one source only. There's so many people in the community that will only use Michael Rosen, that will only use Sonic, that will only use the Mario Brothers show. Those people honestly kind of creep me out.
At this point, I can't tell you whether or not I saw it first or if I thought of it first. Is it Avast My Ass or Avast Your Ass? I can't even remember the original name of the song. I saw the original video. I was just like, I wanted to make this, but it's already been done. But I'm just gonna do it anyways. I don't care. I'm just gonna make it anyways. And then I did, and called it This Has Been Done Before.
He asked my dad knows, and fuck you! Hey! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck!
There were a couple little unlisted ones I did while I was making that I shared with the Skype chat, and they thought it was funny. It got that response, and then I just immediately jumped into making another one, and that one, I guess people liked that too, and then it just kind of got out of hand.
And now we're looking at probably well over 100 JonTron videos.
A lot of those videos I didn't make. Most of them are me, but a lot of them are not, and I think part of the reason it blew up so much is because at that point, most of the guys who I was still talking to in the Skype chat were kind of in the same boat as me, where they weren't really making a lot of videos anymore. Some of them weren't making any anymore. They didn't want to put anything on their YouTube channel, but they're still the same people, so they still enjoy doing this weird stuff. So they saw this stupid thing I was doing, and they're like, hey, I'm gonna make one and send it to you, and you can put it on your channel.
Of the around 100 JonTron videos, you'd guess you made around 60 to 70?
Yeah, I would estimate a bit over half of them.
Do you know about how many different people have contributed to the Supdog444 JonTron project?
Well, I've never heard it described as such. 5 or 6 people, probably. It just kind of spiraled out of control from there. It wasn't like I planned going in, oh, this is what my channel will be now. I would always ask, do you want me to specifically credit you? And they always said no. Some people specifically said, do not put my name on this. However, the dumb quote thing I was doing for a long time with just a fake quote, several of those are attributed to YouTubers, and if that is the case on the video, you can safely bet that that's the person who made that video. All the high effort ones are me. I'm the only one who has that much time, I guess.
What was it like when John commented?
You know, I mean, it was cool. It was kind of like, wow, that took a long time. I mean, that was always kind of the goal, right? Was to get him to just react in some way. Even if it was like a please stop doing this kind of way.
Have you ever had anyone that you've remixed reach out to you?
The American Idol audition.
Always on the run, always on the run. Gotta get him somehow. I think you gotta get him somehow. I think you gotta slap.
The person in that audition, Ian Bernardo, actually reached out and told me, I don't like what you've made. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you going to take it down? And he says, well, people are taking it as a joke, so it's fine, so I'll leave it up.
Have you met anyone that you've used in a YTP?
Wait, I have met one person that I used as a source, and it was actually Terry Crews, who was in Everybody Hates Chris. My dad, who was there at the time, I think he brought it up. Terry, he was super cool. He was all humble and just yeah, thanks so much. Like, I just remember his body language and everything. He was just super cool.
The Old Spice collab, one of the first songs is an Onomataguchi song. I sent it to Peter, and I was like, hey, like, this really cool collab, use your song. So he tweeted about it, and on the Onomataguchi Twitter, he tagged Terry Crews. And through just enough people retweeting it and stuff, Terry Crews saw it like the next day.
I made a YouTube poop of a student film that a friend of my brother's made. And we thought it was like a stupid film, but I made it, and the guy commented saying how much he loved it. And it was a weird movie about a clown called Circus Jose.
What is it like seeing yourself in a YouTube poop?
I had not seen any of those, and then I go to EXPCon in Florida. We did that a couple of years ago, and there was a panel about YouTube poops. And I walked by it and was like, my head is on the screen 50 times. And my head's going, I'm like, what is happening? I just sneak in and I'm sitting in the back row and they played like 20 more. And it's weird. Anyway, that's my experience. I still don't know what we're talking about. Whatever.
One of the nice positive examples comes from Mike Rignetta, who hosted PBS Idea Channel for a while. He actually reached out to me after I had made a YouTube poop using one of the episodes of the show. And they did an episode about YouTube poop and about similar sort of remix stuff. I'm in the credits for that one as like YTP consultant.
This week's episode is brought to you by the hard work of these dedicated poopers.
One day we ordered the kids menu and I was like, what is this?
People have gotten millions of views making YouTube poop vids out of my vids. I do not watch them, even though I know some of them are done with love.
Homemade tomato soup. It's the easiest thing ever. Clank up a cucumber. You don't have to do this, but I like 20 eggs. Yes, 20. In tomato soup, nice subtle licorice flavor there.
I would guess that there are YTP vids on the internet that remix my content to make it sound like I am having sex with my food.
Like a really long, stiff, long, tiny on the outside, tiny on the inside.
It's virtually impossible to talk about food and cooking without using language that is very similar to the language used in lovemaking.
Over here, I've got a big, hot 12-inch... I paused there so that you can get a cleaner edit, boys.
Has anyone talked to you about the poop professor?
No.
We had a professor a long time ago called David Bailey who was writing these pieces on us.
He came up advising the YouTube poop community to like come up with a better name and like organize.
I was really stooped in internet culture at the time because being a teacher at a university, you don't really have the hours like a lot of other jobs do. And so as I would grade and as I would do things, of course, I'm watching YouTube. The Hotel Luigi videos that creeped into my feed. And there were a couple of them I was like, what is this, right? And I couldn't figure out what it was they were doing. It really wasn't until I read Lessig that I was like, I get it now.
Those were, I'm assuming, 2008, 2009?
Yeah, because I had been really digesting that culture for a while before I decided to kind of make a comment about it.
Hi, my name is David Bailey. This message is intended for several YouTube creatives.
I'm guilty of being very over-exuberant about things. I'll tell people this is the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life. You know, you got to see this. This is great. This is great.
The work you're creating has attracted a lot of attention of some very, very powerful academics.
I was also at that point really interested in the idea of environmental scanning and futurism. Where is somewhere that you can put yourself to take advantage of a trend as it peaks? It's very like, you know, stock speculation. And so I made my little video basically shouting out into the ether, and I had absolutely no expectation that anybody was ever going to watch it. I mean, why would they? Look at me. Do I look like anybody who'd be an authority on anything that has popularity in any effect whatsoever? No.
I mean, you're very much, you know, the guy who rides the Amazon and is accepted by the natives.
God, I'm the guy from Avatar. Oh no.
He was a cool guy, but he was trying to bring order to something that was inherently disorganized.
It was very hard even after watching his videos for me to like really grasp like what his intentions were. Part of why David Bailey, specifically his findings and research into it and whatever it was he was trying to accomplish, didn't really make it very far, as he didn't make it explicitly known what he wanted, and because of that pushback.
You find something and you appreciate it and you try to communicate to the people who are doing it. And that was a very happy time in my life because I was like, oh man, these guys are getting it too, right? I still look back on those days very nostalgically, even though I offered absolutely nothing to the community whatsoever. I was just like this little cheerleader, like, go guys, go, you're so cool.
There was also some resistance to it at the time from the YouTube community because like so many of us were familiar with him, like we even made YouTube poops of his talks about it.
I did a poop of him, actually. That was great. Because I remember even in his video, he was like, I realized by uploading this video, I'm probably going to get sourced.
I'm very well aware that this video could possibly end up being remixed and come back to me. I mean, I wouldn't dare request it because I've seen what happens to those people and I don't want it to happen to me.
That's impressive he had that level of foresight. He actually understood it.
I remember he commented on my video like, oh, I just consider it being like hazed.
I would take your dick. My butt, my ass is primarily very, very powerful. Very, very powerful ass.
After, I think, 1 or 2 videos, you were pretty quickly put into YTPs yourself. What was that like? Watching yourself remix.
You can't be mad. You know what they are.
They go mad. I'm taking a big shit. Really big shit.
There's absolutely no way that you can think negatively about this, and you sure as hell are not going to do anything to stop it or influence it. If anything, that would pour gasoline on the fire. Everybody's going to know that that's not what I'm really saying, because at this point, it was still, even though the sentence splicing was amazing, you could tell it'd been spliced.
I will try to stuff this video up your ass.
My wife is, she's not here, but I imagine her rolling her eyes at me right now because she's like, oh, David, you enjoyed it. Oh, yeah, I thought it. I really enjoyed it. It definitely stroked some vanity points for me. My cousin called me up and was like, David, there are all these horrible videos of you out there. I was like, Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. You have to look at it as funny because that's what it is. They don't mean any harm. Don't let your kids search for me on the internet. And she was like, you have to do something to stop them. And I was like, you have to understand, that would make it infinitely worse. That would be essentially going up to a bear and poking it while it's already eating me. Sometimes to this day, my students find it. And they're like, Mr. Bailey, why are you on the internet doing all these horrible things? I've turned it into a teachable moment. And I tell them, because I teach English composition, and I'm like, your online presence is no longer yours, right? And I lost control of my own image, and I'm okay with it, and it's never hurt me. But you have to think very carefully about the things that you're putting out there, because that's not your property anymore. And believe it or not, I've actually accomplished a few cool things with that as a teachable moment, because it's a much better way of illustrating to them that that can happen to them.
Once you've been making YouTube poops for a while, you can't watch anything without imagining what it would be like as a source to poop with. So it's just like YouTube poop brain or something, I don't know. You see a kid's author doing a book reading for children and overacting and making silly noises.
Hello, I'm Michael. Andrew and me are playing a game. I say something and Andrew does the opposite.
And you're like, oh, there's a really good source for YTPMV. Oh, this guy's pretty goofy. This is ideal for like cutting up and editing. I don't know why I was watching children's TV.
Oh God! Again, this is taking me back to some, like, this is a little bit of an unpleasant story for me because this guy does not like me very much.
Okay.
What's the guy? The British Storytime guy.
This was the collision between the YouTube poop community and Michael Rosen.
I managed to rip a copy of Michael Rosen doing his reading for CBeebies from the iPlayer, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna mess around with this and see what I can do. And that was the first Michael Rosen poop, was me just dicking around.
In tonight's bedtime story, I masturbate over your mum. I put up about 60 performances of mine on my website, and you have to choose your platform, and so I chose YouTube.
I thought it might be a good source, and apparently it was, so...
I'm fingering your mum right in the muff.
You get like, where's this source? What is this kind of questions, which I usually don't answer because I like the mystery. People are going to do that anyway. There's going to be hundreds of these. If I'm the one guy making videos with this other source, then I feel like I've contributed something different than, you know, the 10 millionth YCP of CDI. It was the Keygen collab. I think the wider audience that OMG-TSN had is what exploded it. I wouldn't say the mainstream because there's nothing mainstream about YouTube poop, but the wider community, there were like tons more videos of it that Michael Rosen himself noticed, and that's when it like got really uncomfortable for me.
So meanwhile, out there in America, I have become a cult for teenage masturbators. Teenage boy masturbators turn my poems into sort of things about fucking sisters and stuff like that. So there's this whole kind of obscene thing where they've taken my poems, made them utterly obscene. So I thought, well, hang on, there's a copyright issue. Got all pompous. They're my poems. My son shot the poems. I spent the money to do it. How dare they?
Michael Rosen is not a bad guy. Michael Rosen is like as far away from a bad guy as you could possibly get. And he had a legit reason to feel the way that he did, because one of the big jokes for these YouTube poop videos was to, hey, let's make Michael Rosen say absolutely god-awful things.
So if you've done a poem called The Babysitter, some teenage guys in America call it The Baby Shitter. Baby Shitter. Sometimes my mum and dad used to each other. This meant that my brother had to slap my face. He hated me. And if they've got the Michael Rosen rap, they can, not so funny, call it the Michael Rosen rape.
He sees that, and naturally, and his stuff is geared towards kids.
He was very shocked, and his concern was that people were going to watch these with their kids. thinking that it's just him innocently telling his stories.
Problem is that kids think I'm a poet. I've got any objection to obscenity. It's all right. I'm utterly liberal about it. But the problem is that kids are accessing this stuff. They put on the computer, they put in micros, and up comes the babyshitter. I'm getting letters from parents going, "Are you aware?" And of course they think possibly it's me doing it, you see.
All the things that I had not considered were suddenly like I was confronted with. So it's like this guy who wants to put his own like videos aimed at children on YouTube now has like all these other things coming up when you search for him. And this was before like good algorithms that could filter out YouTube poop, and it was way before YouTube accepted that there were children ever on YouTube and made it so you couldn't comment and like marked for kids and like YouTube Kids and everything. So this was just like the Wild West. My kind of knee-jerk reaction was like, I just need to delete everything and suggest to other people that they stop. Maybe I can put the genie back in the bottle. But obviously, super naive and wishful thinking.
His initial reaction was a reasonable reaction. When you're not really familiar with how things work on the internet and what's the norm there, it just looks like someone is taking your stuff and messing with it without your permission, and kids are seeing it. Which is a real issue. I definitely think that like people should have the freedom to make these videos and remix them and make people say like raunchy stuff if they want to, but putting them in easy reach of children is another question entirely.
Michael Rosen's son was so upset with all these YouTube poops of his dad. He actually went out of his way to do a copyright strike, raid. He went out of his way to copyright strike every single YouTube poop involving his dad. If it had a YTP in it, boom, it was gone.
Idiot me, what did I try and do? Pull them down. Boy, did the proverbial hit the fan. My word, at that point, they went bananas.
In Sector, he nuked his channel. I don't know why he nuked his channel and why he disappeared. He left the Skype group one day and never come back.
I know he was pretty upset and wanted them taken down. And me as a sympathetic person was like, all right, I'll take them down. And also obviously feeling a bit guilty. It affected him so negatively.
Oh God, there's a clip of him. And he is just talking about how ridiculous I am.
One guy, I think it may still be there, he said, he filmed himself saying,
"Hey guys, I'm going to take some time out of my incredibly busy day to actually address this Michael Rosen incident.
I got a statement to make to Michael Rosen." And he's sitting there, and you can see his glasses in his little room. And he's sitting there, and he's got another guy put up a manifesto against Michael Rosen.
And I was like, Michael Rosen knows me.
He called me a goober.
I mean, I can't get mad because it's true. It's good to have a good sense of humor about yourself. It's very cringy. I'm just some bodunk little college teacher in South Georgia, and this mammoth of children's literature, Michael Rosen, sees fit to say not nice things about me. I'm putting that on my resume, dog.
Back they come saying, well, that's not our fault. That's the fault of their parents letting them surf the net. At which point, I had no answer. And I said, yeah, if you've got a problem, if you let a 10-year-old surf the net, you will see the most god-awful stuff up there.
You need to be very careful about links that you share, and you need to really carefully look at and vet material. When I teach a class, I review my stuff. I don't just grab something, read the title, and put it on there, because the internet is a very smarmy, evil, and manipulative place.
The car trip. Mum says, right, YouTube, this is a long car journey. I'm driving, and I can't drive properly if you two are going mad in the back. Do you understand? So we go, okay, Mum, okay. And as we were driving, I said, Brian, I want some. So he goes, well, he can't now. I think I'll make him notice. I put my fishy sloppy behind my brother.
As a parent, it is really hard to police your kids' online content, to the point that I used to be the same way, and I used to be like, yeah, well, watch what your kid's doing.
As a responsible parent, I would think that if you want to show your kids YouTube poops, you would really want to, take a look at them first. You should, screen everything you want to show to your kids.
10 years ago, before I had kids, yeah. But now as a parent, I'm like, That's a little terrifying because and YouTube is doing everything they can.
One of the good things that YouTube has done recently is make a distinction between videos that are for kids and videos that are not for kids. Yeah. I definitely approve of that because that makes sure that the people who are uploading like YouTube poops of kids shows aren't getting them mixed in with the actual kids shows.
The number of videos that have been transitioned to that YouTube Kids format, I mean, it does help just by, making an alternative app, a site, what have you. Sadly, a lot of people who haven't uploaded videos in such a long time, their videos were automatically detected by YouTube, whatever algorithm they're using, that it's fit for the YouTube Kids site, simply because it used clips of a kids show.
That's YouTube. It's used for so many different things now. It's not as small as it used to be. So it's important that we take that responsibility to make sure what we're making is going to be consumed by the people who want to and not by the people who don't. I put content warnings in front of a lot of my videos if I feel like the content in there is going to be potentially disturbing, like if it's got something like static audio or something that's going to be upsetting, or if my jokes kind of are a little too innuendo filled.
Don't try anything at home. We do this.
I'll put something up so that even if somebody just happens upon it and doesn't know what to expect, they at least have something to tell them what's going to happen.
So I said, fair dues, guys. At which point I suddenly became, even more of a massive hero for the Pennsylvania masturbators. I am now right there with these guys, and every now and then I get emails from Zorg and Imperial Lobster, and they go, we've just bunged up another one that makes you look like you're, anyway, I won't go on. It's really good, and they go, what do you think? And I don't even answer, and then happy birthday, Mike, and then they quote lines from the poems at me, which they've screwed up.
He kept making them, so it was just a war of attrition at this point. He just had to give up and just say that he loved his videos.
No, I have watched some of them. I thought they're very good.
And he's on record saying he loves the poopers.
Hi, poopers. It's so wonderful what you've done with all my YouTube performances. I'm so grateful to you. It's been so wonderful to see my face turned into, and all those words chopped up. I love you, poopers. I love you.
Just as there's people who live their whole lives online, there's people who live their whole lives not even slightly online. So I can see how when there's something that affects the one in a big way that it affects the other, you're gonna get these clashes.
Just filmed another. Am I crazy? I have filmed another 30. My son has just filmed me, and as I was doing the poems, I thought, I know what they're going to do with this one. I know what the Pennsylvania lot are going to do with this one. So even as I'm performing, I'm going, I know how to, yeah, because they dub on other sounds or they off the rest of it. I mean, it's all very clever.
It kind of takes someone who's a bit of both to kind of be peacekeeper in these things, or ideally, I mean, you can't expect someone to know everything that's going on all the time. So, and obviously with the older generation as well, we've grown up with the internet, and it's kind of second nature, and you don't really think about the technical aspects of it. You're just kind of in it.
A lot of this stuff has been inaccessible. Television and radio were held by these major companies. And now what's happened with YouTube and so on, and we're seeing it with the injunctions thing, all kinds of fractures are happening, and people can just take it and do what they want with it, and there's bugger all people like me can do about it. So there we are.